I play the drums the same way I live my life, mediocre at best. Also, at the moment I don't have any real drums, I only have the Rock Band drums, and they don't really stand up to the punishment I can deal out. So, in this video we're gonna look at how to properly reinforce, well, first fix, for the second time I might add, and then reinforce the bass pedal of the Rock Band 4 drums. Let's get started. Wrong button. Okay, so this is the bass pedal for my Rock Band 4 drum kit, and as you can see it's not only broken, it's broken again. I've already tried to fix it once with super glue and then hot glue, but it broke down the middle anyhow. It might be due to the carpet I'm using to place the drum set on, I'm not sure. But what I'm gonna do now is take it apart and then glue it back together and reinforce this part here with an aluminium plate. Now that we've got it stripped, I need to tape it a bit because it's extremely fragile as it is. And I don't want to break it more than necessary. So I'm just going to use some simple masking tape to keep everything in place. That was... there you go, bro. I broke it there instead. Okay, more tape. Now, all I have to do is find me some aluminum, whatever you want. It's the same stuff. So, I found this piece. It's pretty grimy, but it doesn't matter. We're not gonna use much of it. I think I can carve out something over here where it's pretty clean. And nobody will ever see it, so... It should be pretty obvious why I'm kitted like this when cutting aluminum with the jigsaw. I've seen a lot of YouTubers doing metalworking and woodworking without proper safety equipment, and I've had my fair share of shards shot in my eyes, ceramic, wood, metal, and my ears are... I actually have damaged my ears from playing drums in a previous life, so this is why I'm wearing my ear protection as well. So let's get to it. Quite a bit of sanding to do, or filing. We can remove everything down to the black lines. While I was filing this one, I noticed that it was quite flimsy. I'm pretty sure this one really won't reinforce the bass pedal at all. So I'm thinking I'll go steel. So let's do over on this one. I've rigged my angle grinder onto my workbench with a couple of clamps, and this is a poor man's grinding bench grinder, I guess. So let's give it a shot. Now we have to figure out where to drill our holes, because my idea is to mount this plate onto the actual pedal by using nuts there and then bolts through the plate. But I don't want to drill into my plate the first thing I do and ruin it. So I'm just going to use a cardboard template to try and figure out how to do this. So here we go. I'm using the thick side to begin with this time. Okie doke. Screw it. Good enough. Okie dokie. Now we need to measure this. For drilling this, since it's a paper template, I'm just going to use a handheld power drill and yeah, some sort of sacrificial board. So yeah, not a great success, which I was expecting, and that's why we did the paper template. The holes down here align pretty good, as you may or may not see. I'm doing my best not to screw up the image. But up here, yeah, not so much. And up here, it's really bad. So now I just have to measure the distance from this edge to here to see where the holes really should be. I just take the template down to make sure it doesn't move too much. And what I want to do is, as I said before, is measure from the edge here on the cardboard template to the edge of the actual hole. I traced this old template onto a new piece of cardboard, and then I also marked where the holes are in this template onto the new template. Now what I need to do is adjust the center of these holes in accordance with my measurements. Let's see if that one works out. I have absolutely no idea. Well, I have some sort of idea, but... can see, hopefully, these holes are pretty much where they should be. And so is this one. This one still isn't great. You can see a bit of plastic in there. This one is pretty much spot on. So yeah, this one needs to be remeasured, but I think we're good. Before I do anything else now, I have to glue the pedal back together because it cracked completely when I handled it before. I don't want to touch these edges because I want them to fit together as perfectly as possible. I will use super glue for this, or speed glue. I think it's called CA glue as well. Yeah, let's see if we can do this. Now that super glue has hardened and dried, I'm gonna reinforce this cavity here. You can see the seam from super glue. I'm gonna reinforce this with ordinary hot glue. It's not easy to get it in there, but it's not super important that it's absolutely perfect. Just need something in there, and I'm out of glue sticks. Once again for the second time. Oh, once again for the first time, right? And this doesn't have to be a precise job, as I mentioned. We just want a bit more stability and rigidity in here. Like a glove. In order to attach the plate to the actual pedal, I need to mount these locking nuts. And that's not entirely easy. I mean, they just fall in there. So, I just want to use regular hot glue to fasten them because I don't think there will be any real torque applied to these screws. I came up with this one. Make sure that this washer is aligned with the outer diameter of this hole. The nut should be pretty much centered. This is probably the wrong way to apply it, but that's the way I'm doing it. Dry now, let's see if I can just... Yeah, well, so far so good. This shouldn't be a problem. This is where it gets interesting. Yeah, excellent. That's actually in there pretty good. It's a bit spongy because I missed a bit there, but that's something that we can rectify afterwards. As long as we don't get anything in the actual threads, I'm fine. And in a worst case scenario, if we get something inside the nut, we'll just thread it out again or tap it out again. And yeah, this is a mess, I know. But that doesn't matter, I'll just sand it down when it's hardened. The hot glue and lock nut combination didn't really work out, so I'm gonna go over to these kind of standard nuts and then apply some Loctite on the screws instead when I screw it all together. And then I'm also gonna use some epoxy to make sure that this holds together as intended. Or hopefully holds together as intended. Now, it doesn't look like this will work because there's not enough epoxy, and what I get there will probably attach to the washer as well, but we'll wait a couple of minutes and see how it works out. with all the nuts in place, held in by epoxy, I need to mark on my plate where to drill the holes. So I'm gonna use my pencil center finders. Just gonna screw these in. My center finders in place. All I'm gonna do now is place my plate where I think it should be, and then I'm just gonna press real good. Make sure I got contact everywhere. Okay. One there. There's another one. Really faint just over here. As you can see, it turned out okay-ish at the front, but back here not so much. So I need to ream these out and never ever attempt to do this again. Before marking the center hole, I aligned and secured the plate with the 4 corner bolts. Without doing this, it would be almost impossible to get this on in the correct spot. Lo and behold, this one actually worked out a lot better. It's not perfect, but it's good enough for me. I'll probably break it again anyhow. Next step is to countersink this side of the plate for the screw holes, or for the screw heads. So let's go ahead and do that. I cut some of the screws to length because they would hit the pedal otherwise. These will fit, so I didn't bother with them. So let's just mount this plate on here and hope for the best, shall we? There's a bit of a creaking in the epoxy, but besides this last one that made a pretty horrible sound, this is probably the only one that actually broke. A couple of hits and misses with this one. The pencil center finders were, I think they would have worked if I've done these two first, and then secured these two, and done this one, secured this one, and then done these two. I shouldn't have done all 5 at once. I think that was the main problem. The epoxy mixture for this one is probably really bad. It's already lifting, I think. My epoxy is 5 years old, and I've, as you understand, used it very seldom. So that's why that one might come loose. Otherwise, it fits okay. It's not good looking, but it doesn't matter. This isn't the pedal I'm touring with. This is just the one I practice with. So we'll see if I'll be back soon with a new video on how to reinforce this. But otherwise, I'm really pleased with how this one turned out. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you liked this and found it somewhat useful. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down, and please leave a comment so I know what type of content you prefer. I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye.